If you sit there and do nothing and you're waiting to feel better so that you will have the motivation to do it, then you're thinking about it all wrong. Motivation doesn't come before action. You don't start thinking, hey, I'm waiting to be inspired to move. No, that's not how it works. You take action, and as you see results and as you do more, you will be inspired and motivated to keep doing. So that's what you need to focus on. Action, action, action. Hi, I'm Jordan, and welcome to the Wise Money Women channel, where we help millennial women to master their money and transform their life. So if you're all about building wealth, getting out of debt, and saving money, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you can get notified whenever we add new videos to the channel. So motivation, how do we get it? How do we keep it? And how do we finally cross the finish line on our goals? Now, I've been there. We start out super excited, going all gung-ho, and then 2 weeks into it, we start falling apart, or as soon as the first bad thing that happens, we end up just forgetting about the whole goal altogether, and then we just say we're gonna put it on next year's New Year's resolution list. But we're gonna solve that problem right here today. And the first thing that comes with finding that motivation is really understanding what motivates you. So what kind of gets you excited enough to go out and do something that you don't really want to do? Or what gets you so frustrated that you feel like the act of not doing it is so annoying that you're kind of just like, you know what, it's so much worse if I don't do it, so let me just go out and do it. Most people fall into one or two categories. Carrot and stick situation. You're either on the stick side, where you want to avoid punishment, you want to avoid bad stuff from happening, or you're a carrot person, where you are excited about new and interesting things and you want good things to happen to you. And sometimes you kind of flip-flop between the two of them, just depending on what's going on and what motivational strategies you've tried before. So we're going to tackle two different ways: some strategies for folks that are carrot people, some strategies that are for stick people, and then some that just kind of works for everybody. Let's get started with carrot people who like good things and want more good things to happen to them. So the first thing that you want to do as a carrot person is to get clear on your lifestyle. So we're talking about envisioning in your mind, and preferably writing it down on paper, what your life is going to look like once you have achieved this goal. Now, if you need some help in terms of defining what you want your life to look like, we have another video that gives you 3 questions that you can ask yourself to help get that clear in your mind. But having a clear vision of how you want your life to be and how it's going to be once you hit this goal is a great way for you to stay motivated. Now, within that vein, you can also consider doing things that have a more visual setup. So you are able to do things like vision boards. Those are very popular, and people really do enjoy and keep motivated whenever they're able to see the goal in front of them on a regular basis. You can also consider doing something like debt charts. A lot of people love coloring into different things. So it can either be a paying off debt chart, or it could be a this is how closer, or this is how much closer I am to saving up enough money to buy whatever thing or going on vacation. Those are all really good ways to visually help you to remember, and you can put them all around your house. You can put them on Post-it notes, you can put them on your refrigerator, you can put them in your bathroom, so that you can always keep it at the top of your brain that this is something that you're working towards. So you know that whenever you're thinking of going off somewhere, you can actually remember again and get that reminder all the time. Another thing that is really good to help carrot people stay on the path of working on their finances is adding rewards in throughout the process that will not deter their financial goals. So if you know that you're trying to save up a certain amount of money because there is a specific car you want to buy or something like that, what you can do is to set in different things that say, hey, when you hit this goal, so when you're at 10% of the money saved up, then you can treat yourself with this reward. And then when you're at 30%, you can treat yourself with another type of reward. Now, you want to make sure you're not treating yourself with something that's too extravagant that's going to mess up your goal. So don't say you're trying to save money to buy a car, and then when you hit 25%, you go spend, $10,000 on a trip. Like, you don't want it to be stuff like that. But it can be something small, even if it's just treating yourself to dinner, or, buying yourself new car mats, or whatever it is that you want to put on there. You want to put those small goals or rewards that kind of helps you to stay the path, and you can get these nice little, happy feeling wins as you go along. Now, if you are a stick person, we are not trying to focus on good stuff that you're moving towards, because sometimes you can be like, yeah, that's going to be great, but my situation is not that bad right now, so maybe it's fine. So stick people need to focus on bad things happening if they don't make changes or if they don't reach the goal. So what you can focus on here might be to say, hey, let's run the numbers. So let's say, for instance, you're paying off credit cards and you think, okay, well, I need to be able to see what my financial life is going to look like if I don't make any changes. Everything stays exactly the same. You keep paying the minimum payment. You're not keeping track of your finances or budgeting or any of that stuff. See what the numbers are going to look like. Sometimes it's enough for you to see how much you're paying in interest over that period of time. Sometimes it's enough for you to be able to see how much funds you would have spent that you could have spent on something else, for you to get pissed off enough for you to keep on doing what you need to be doing, even when you feel like you're not in the mood and you don't want to do this anymore. Or worse, when you see people and they're posting with their families and doing all this fun stuff and cooking all these great foods, or they're going out and whatever, and you start thinking, man, I'm still doing staycations and I'm still doing activities that are free while other people are doing all of these amazing, crazy stuff. Sometimes it's enough to see how bad things will get if you don't change, for you to keep on the right path. Another thing that you can do is to think about increasing the pain. This is going to be a short one. You want to be in a short exercise. You don't want to live in this place of fear and awful things happening for very long. So spend maybe 15 minutes and just think about, what is the worst thing that could happen here? If you're trying to pay down your credit cards, what will happen if you decide that you're not going to do it? How bad could it get? If you don't change your financial situation, would you lose your house? Would you lose your car? Would you end up in mountains of debt? Sometimes doing that catastrophizing type activity can really be a kick in the butt to be like, heck, if I don't do something, this is going to be really, really bad, and I can't afford to have that lifestyle. So spend a little bit of time to just make that pain really visible and like really visceral to you. Inspiration can get people started, but fear can really help people keep going. So, feed into that for a very short time. Like, don't live there. The next thing that you can do is you can make the punishment of failure really hurt. So instead of just saying, well, I want to save X amount of money, and then if I don't save it, it doesn't really matter because I didn't really tell anybody anyway. Instead, what you can do is you can write a check for some specific amount of money to an organization that you don't like or an organization you don't support. Or you can say, hey, I'm writing this $1,000 check to my friend here, and if I don't meet my goal, I'm giving my friend the authorization to go and cash that check. Or worse, you're giving away money to organizations you don't like or support if you fail. That is sometimes enough for you to be like, hey, I'm not giving my hard-earned money to somebody who I don't even like, so let me just make sure that I stick on the straight and narrow path for that. Now, if you're like me, then you might fall into both of those camps depending on what's going on. In the past, I used to be more of a stick person, but then lately I kind of switched into the camp of being a carrot person, where I started to feel like, I don't really want to think about the bad stuff. I really just want to see the amazing things and move forward. So in this section, we're literally talking about strategies that you can use, whether you're a carrot person or a stick person. One thing that everyone really should do when it comes on to trying to stay motivated is to find a community of like-minded people. Because if you are trying to save money, if you're trying to build wealth, and everyone you're surrounded with are folks that are just living their lives without a plan, they're just spending unconsciously to impress people you don't like. If they're living that kind of lifestyle, it's very easy for you to kind of get warped up into it. You're going to feel that pressure. So what you want to do is to surround yourself with other folks that are also on that same path of trying to build wealth, save money, get out of debt, that kinds of stuff. And shameless plug here, we have a Wise Money Women Facebook group that's for the ladies that will give that environment of people who are supportive, who are also on that drive to save money, to build wealth, to get out of debt. So we share ideas and thoughts and stories and our celebrations, and we all rejoice together, and we all try to keep each other motivated. So if you're looking for a group that you need, that kind of extra support, I'm gonna put the link in the description so that you can check that out. Now, another thing that you need to do is to make it easy. Anytime you make something difficult, you're much more likely to not do it. The least amount of work you have to do is the more likely you're gonna get to your final destination. You also want to think about not giving yourself some really massive, huge goal that has no baby steps in it. So it's great to say, hey, I want to earn, make $1 million within a year, but you also want to make sure that you put little milestones in there so that you can feel like you're making progress. Because if you make this big, hairy goal and it's going to take you 3 years to get there, it can be really depressing when you're on that path and you feel like you're doing all this work and you're not really seeing any progress. So break up your big, hairy goal into lots of little pieces, and then focus on hitting each piece. And as you hit that piece, then you can change your focus to the next piece. And then eventually, as you get through each of those milestones, you'll achieve your big, hairy goal. And while we're talking about big, hairy goals and kind of working the process, you really need to spend the time to focus on living your life. At Wise Money Women, we're pretty huge on making sure that you're enjoying your life today while you're in the process of preparing to enjoy your life in the future. But let's be real, like if you aren't doing things to help yourself enjoy life now, you're pretty much not gonna stay on this path. You're not gonna keep moving forward. So find things that kind of give you energy, that add value to your life, that still keeps you within your ultimate goal of what you're trying to do so that you can stay the path and are less likely to drop off. Next, you want to know what your triggers are. Knowing your triggers is what's going to keep you from ending up falling off the wagon and having it run over you, because you'll be aware of things that are more likely to end up with you doing stuff that you're not supposed to do. For instance, I know that I am pretty big on, buying things that are on sale. So I know that if I'm trying to save more money for a specific goal, then I don't go to the mall. And if I get sale stuff in my email, I know that I just need to ignore them. You gotta know the things that are much more likely to have you do bad stuff and just try to avoid them as much as you can. And as a matter of fact, a good way for you to keep on top of that too is to have an accountability buddy. So have someone where when you feel that trigger that says, hey, I should probably, go do something crazy, you can call that person and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. I really need, somebody to kind of talk me off the cliff. And I use my sister for that a lot because she knows my goals. She knows what I'm trying to do. And so if I say to her, hey, I'm thinking about buying this, and she's like, well, is it in line with your goals? And does it make you happy? And she'll ask me the questions that I probably need somebody to ask, but I am just not in the mind space to ask myself sometimes. And so she's really good to be like, hey, don't do it. Or she'll say, hey, it's fine. If you want to do it now, just make sure that you make these additions. So having an accountability partner can really help you to stay on target. Another thing is make sure that whatever goals you're picking, that they actually relate to you as who you are. So let's not go picking, type of goals that you're like, well, when I do this, or I'm thinking that I want to be a runner. For instance, for me, weight loss is a huge thing that I'm always kind of working on, staying healthy and taking better care of myself. And so it would be really crazy of me to decide that one of my goals is to be a marathon runner by the end of this month. That is not real for me. That is not something that I would be able to sustain. So it's much more important for me to be able to pick a goal that is in line with the person who I am, my real values, stuff I actually care about, so that I can stay the course. And a good thing that you can do is to have a journal. So I didn't start journaling for mastering my money. It's something that I kind of just love doing. I love writing down my thoughts. I love collecting journals. I really just love the idea of, writing things on paper. That's just how my brain works really well. And so I realized that I was putting down these journal entries throughout time. Like something was bothering me and I wrote it down. And later I was able to go back and see like where my headspace was with my money and my life and my career, 3 years ago, 6 months ago, where I was a year ago. Like I really could look and see the progression of who I was becoming. And that really was helpful for me to see like, hey, I've come really far. So I might not be exactly where I want to be just yet, but seeing the progress of who I was and how I felt and how I spoke about my life back then was really helpful to be able to see that I was on this path of progress. And so I was focusing then on the transformation. And then that's also huge. If you're a person who really likes money mantras and those kind of things, it's a great way to kind of change how you talk to yourself and kind of say, hey, I am forgiving myself for the past mistakes that I have made, and that I am working on becoming better at my money, becoming better at handling my finances and helping other people. So you can have those money mantras that can be really helpful for you to remember that you're in progress, and it can help you stay motivated. Finally, the biggest way for you to stay motivated is to start having results quick. I don't know about you, but I am very much a results-oriented person. If I don't start seeing some results that says that this thing gonna work like really fast, I am much more likely to just like jump off and be like, you know what, if it ain't working, I might as well just do what I like and just not worry about it. A good way for you to get results really quickly is to do things like challenges. So if you're trying to save, you might do a savings challenge. If you're trying to spend less, maybe do a no spend challenge. The most important thing that you need to focus on is taking action. So you need to take action whenever possible. So if you're thinking about what you want your life to look like, take action in asking yourself the questions that you need to ask so that you can define that. If you want to see results, take action and do challenges or activities that will bring you results. If you sit there and do nothing and you're waiting to feel better so that you will have the motivation to do it, then you're thinking about it all wrong. Motivation doesn't come before action. You don't start thinking, hey, I'm waiting to be inspired to move. No, that's not how it works. You take action, and as you see results and as you do more, you will be inspired and motivated to keep doing. So that's what you need to focus on. Action, action, action. So if you have learned anything from this video, I am asking you to take action. Hit that like button. I know, I just had to throw it out there. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, then now's the time to do it. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you can get notified whenever we add more videos to the channel to help you to master your money and transform your life.